Before we begin, we are pleased to welcome Lieutenant Schmidt's parents, John and Karen Torgerson, and his wife, Danielle. The presiding official for today's ceremony is the commander of the 3rd Manpower Requirement Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Jason D. Johnson. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Colonel Johnson.
All right, well, I just want to take this time to thank everybody for coming out. Mom, Dad, Danielle. This is a special day for Brandon. Up to this point, he's really kind of been in that position. We like to joke in the Air Force that everybody wants a captain in the Air Force. When it comes to leadership and when it comes to getting things done, quite frankly, the captains and the major ranks are really where it comes together for a lot of the Air Force. And those are the people who really push to get the job done. So he's about to take a really big milestone. He's about to leave the rank of, the necessary rank, so to speak, to move on to the desired rank. Not just, for him, but from the institutional perspective. And so that's a big deal. People don't really realize that, in that, from tomorrow on, nobody will know if Brandon is one day as a captain or one day from being a major when he would go on to the field grade ranks. And so with that, there's a decided increase in expectation with what Brandon's going to accomplish as he moves forward. So as he goes and he leaves here and he enters a new job, one which he volunteered for, and we hope very shortly we will see show up on all of the requirements documents as he goes off to Qatar. They just won't know. And so when he hits the ground there, they are going to expect that he is a full-up round, that he can take whatever is out there, whatever responsibility they have, they can hand it to him and say, Brandon, I need this done, and that is about as much guidance as he's going to get. So that's it's a big step. It's a really big step, and with those expectations, come a lot of responsibility, not just for him, taking care of Danielle, but with all the troops that will be looking up to him. So that's big. Now the beauty of it all is that throughout Brandon's career, most of you probably may not, that he started enlisted. And after finishing up basic training, went off to be an airborne controller in the back of AWACS. So that's an easy life, just to fly around. I think he explained it to me one day as he had stuff to do for about the first hour of the flight, about a 13-hour flight, and then after that he was pretty much done. So it worked out well that he got to eventually come here, because that's pretty much his day in a nutshell here. But after spending about 2-3 years at Kadena, he went off to Tinker and got to go be not just an airborne controller anymore, but also an evaluator. And from an for everybody knows, we only put the people in there that we know do a good job. They're the ones who get to watch everybody else and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to. And then from there, he went on to be an NCOIC, the evaluator section, which is, again, they only put their best in those kind of positions. So with that, he went off and completed his degree at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, correct? All right. And from there, he got to go off to OTS. So you see this established record of excellence throughout what he was doing. And it continued in OTS, distinguished graduate. And then he got to come to this lovely, lovely base in this lovely weather at about this time of year. So it was probably snowing and or windy, cold, that sort of thing. But he hit the ground running just like he did everywhere else. And in the Force Support Squadron, you have to be in charge of inspections. You see things on his performance reports, number 1 of 4 lieutenants, number 4 of 25 lieutenants, company grade officer of the quarter × 2 in his first year. And then he also won at the AMCA 1 level. So there's been lots of great things. And then he got to come over here and be in charge of flight. And he helped get the schedule back on track, quite frankly. We were really behind in a couple of areas, and he helped push that through. Not always earning friends, but getting the job done. And that was what was important. Those were his marching orders. I know that that was what I told him when he got here. I said, your job when you take over this flight is to get these things done. And he did that. So with that,